Hey guys, Pep
Hello.
Faveli here, and Mike is accompanying me as well. And we're going to talk a little bit about what happened during Sony's press conference. We want to talk about Sony because we play these games
I like
and
Sony.
we like these games a lot. So we're tackling Sony first, and then I'll be tackling Microsoft, Bethesda, Ubisoft, and EA on my own. So let's start talking Sony. And Sony started their press conference by revealing God of War.
The God of War.
A new entry on the God of War series. I personally haven't played the first three God of Wars. I have watched gameplay. I know what happens on the games. So you're basically Kratos and you defeat gods because you want to take revenge on the Olympus because they made you kill your family.
Yep, that's
So after God of War 3, you're done. You've killed every Greek mythological
every single God.
figure that ever existed. So what does Sony do? They incurse or they switch from Greek mythology to Nordic mythology, and I think that's a good move. They have something else to explore. But the dumb move, in my opinion, is that they're still using Kratos. They're still using a Greek god for a different mythology. And I would have liked to see them use the God of War IP because they're changing the gameplay completely. God of War was some sort of beat 'em up type of gameplay from over the top.
Devil May Cry, like
Yeah, something like that.
combos,
So
crazy combos.
hack and slash, something like that. And they're switching it over to something kind of like at The Last of Us perspective, which is third person but close up, like over the shoulder third person.
Yep.
Um, and you get to fight. Like it's still hand-to-hand combat. You're still using your axe. You're still using your weapon. You're still using, and you have this kid with you that's following you around with
It's
a
your
bow.
son,
And
it's your son.
so it's great as a son, and he's a wimpy kid and can't shoot a troll for the life of him. So, I mean, I like the idea of God of War returning. I like the idea of Norse mythology. I don't like that they are still using Kratos. It would have been better for me if they used Tyr, which is the Nordic.
We just found out.
We just found out about that before starting this. So I don't know. What do you think about
I like it. I mean, it's a good point. They should have used the war god of their respective mythology. I agree with that, but I don't find it so wrong that they're still using Kratos. It's like, I mean, I was hyped, man. I've never played the three God of Wars, but I still was hyped. Like, what is this type of Jedi Nordic Kratos, man? What the
Yes.
it was hype fish, and but I like it. No, and the like it really lets you see that the tough character of Kratos with his son, his
Yes.
own son. He can even put his hand on his shoulder
Yes,
to
that's
comfort
right.
him. It's like,
I mean, they're doing well with the character development and whatnot. I mean, it's just a gameplay trailer and whatnot, so you just get the tip of the iceberg from this.
Yeah.
So, but you can actually see Kratos' character show towards his son. So I think it's a very good idea, and I'm kind of excited for this new God of War. And I think they are gonna have to explain a conflict right from the very beginning instead of just continuing on like, oh, last God of War you killed a bunch of gods. You were
Another
trying to
god.
kill this god again.
Yeah.
Here is what happened after that. So, because I think God of War 2 ends on the cliffhanger. Like, you're going with the Titans towards Olympus, and that's the end of it.
Yeah.
And you start God of War 3 at Olympus with the Titans.
Yeah.
So, I think it's very interesting to see them returning to the God of War franchise and using Kratos in this way. And I think it's good they're going to start with a different conflict this time around. Because there's dragons, there's trolls, there's different creatures
Dragons,
that
man,
they're
yeah.
going to have to fight. And I don't know, I'm excited to see what they do because I'm a newcomer to the series. And it would be fun for me to be able to just get into the series without having to play the previous three because they're not released on PS4. And I only have a PS4, so the only God of War 3 is released on PS4. So.
It's a fresh start, yeah. So for newcomers like you and me, it's good. It's good for us. And I do have a PlayStation 3, so I can buy like this a trilogy of the games and
That would be good.
play them all.
Maybe we can do that on the channel at some point, if you want. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So, yeah, that would be fun. And then Sony continued on the presentation with Days Gone, announcing another game, Days Gone. And even though I'm not usually the zombie game type.
Never mind. Never mind.
It looks interesting. Kind of seems like it has a narrative similar to that of The Last of Us.
Yep.
In a way, like the environments that they showed look kind of like The Last of Us. It's open, there are forests and
Deep story, you know.
deep storytelling. It seems like, and the main character starts off by, like the trailer, he starts off by telling you, "I remember how it was back in the day. I remember that I didn't care about anything, and I just cared about her." And it's like he's riding on his bike with his girlfriend on the back,
He
and it's just like,
misses her.
and then he misses her, and it just snaps back, and it's like, "Oh, a horde of zombies is coming out of that thing. I'm gonna kill every single one of them," and it just completely eradicates this barricade. Like it's a wave, a literal wave of zombies coming out of it, and it just goes like da 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 da.
Yep,
And he just goes back running and just reloads like this, and he goes da 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 da.
And so I got anxious, man. Looking
Yeah.
at, like they're too close to you. Shoot them or run.
Yes.
Choose one of both, but don't do both at the same time.
It looks like the gameplay is gonna be very relaxed in that regard. Like zombies are not, they're gonna pressure you, sure, but it's not gonna be like, holy fuck, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah.
So in that regard, I don't think it's gonna be as stressful as it is, for example, with the Walking Dead series, or with some other zombie games like Resident Evil was when it was starting out.
Yeah.
So I think that Days Gone is a good idea. Probably it didn't appeal to me as much because of the zombie thematic and the zombie theme of the gameplay showcase, but the storytelling and the environment spoke to me quite a lot, and I liked it. I liked what they showed of that.
I'm not getting it. I'm not the zombie type neither. That's because for me, it's because I'm a big wuss. Like I cannot stand horror in any way, not in movies and not in video games. Like
Yeah, I understand that.
so, I get very anxious, man. Like I don't want to play this.
Yeah.
I just drop it. I don't want it. So I'm out of that kind of games.
Yeah, that's fine. I won't pick it up unless it gets really good reviews. So I'm more like I'll wait on it and see if it's good enough. That's what I did with The Last of Us. I waited an entire generation Switch shop before getting The Last of Us, and all that. But yeah, that's pretty much what I think about Days Gone. Then they talked a little bit more about what they're doing with other companies, for example, Kojima Productions, and what they're doing with Activision. They're working to bring the 3 original Crash Bandicoot games onto the PS4, like complete remasters of the
good.
Crash trilogy. And I'm excited to do that because I mean they're from Activision, but on Uncharted 4, and you and I both have played Uncharted 4 by this point, you can play Crash Bandicoot
And
out of nowhere. It's just Crash Bandicoot, go play.
They're like, yay!
What? How can I? Yes. So I'm excited. I'd like to try the first 3 Crash Bandicoots because growing up, we both were Nintendo kids. So
I've never played them.
we did not get to play Crash Bandicoot growing up because they were PlayStation 1 games and PlayStation 2 games. So up until the GameCube era, it was when Crash was migrated to multi-platform. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see Crash Bandicoot make a return. People have been asking for this for the better part of my life.
Quite a lot of time.
So, I don't know. I mean, Crash Bandicoot seems like a very big name nowadays, and it would be amazing to bring him back. And it's coming back to PlayStation, which is amazing. So, that would also open up the way for new Crash Bandicoot games, and probably rebooting the series after the first 3 games, you know, because they didn't like Crash of the Titans and all those games that were multi-platform that people really didn't like. And Crash is joining Spyro on the next Skylanders game. So, I mean, it's a very good opportunity for Sony to bring Crash back and have his mascot back, have their mascot come back.
Quite a good move, and like you said, I've never played those, and I would like to know what's all the hype about, and if it's so good as everyone remembers. I mean, it's good to use the nostalgia to sell like Nintendo does all the time.
Yes, and it's very good because it's a completely different generation now. It's not like, oh, hey, we did The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess like 10 years ago. Buy it again now. It's a game that came out 16, 17 years ago, and a lot of people, a lot of kids that were born this generation don't know what the original Crash Bandicoot games were like. So it's a very good opportunity for people to get back onto these games, and nostalgic guys that grew up with them to
Yep.
buy them again, experience them again
And they
in an
will-
entirely new light, like what they're doing with Ratchet and Clank.
Mhm.
They're remastering the entire experience. So that's
Yep.
pretty neat. That's pretty cool. And as we were talking about before jumping onto Crash, Kojima and his new company,
Yeah.
they're jumping on with a new game. I don't really understand what's going on.
I mean, we knew nothing when like there were the expectation. And Kojima is
Exactly.
making a game, and now we see that trailer and we know less. Like,
Yes.
we still don't know anything about it. And I mean, I didn't get anything.
I didn't. I was confused, to say the least. So
Yeah, like
it's interesting to see what Kojima brings to the table, because the only thing I actually really understood was that the main character from Silent Hills, which is a
Yeah.
game that was canceled, and that's a shame, is now the main character for the new game
Yep.
that Kojima Productions is making, which is good. I am glad for Kojima that he has his own company now and he doesn't depend on Konami, because Konami were dicks
yeah.
to him.
So
So I'm glad that Kojima is making games again. I'm glad that this is happening the way that it's happening. I just want to be more clear about the game. We probably could have made a little bit more research before getting to this, but I'm just excited to talk about everything that was revealed. So
Sorry, not sorry.
yeah, sorry, not sorry. Exactly my thoughts. So also, Sony had a big focus on VR this E3. They revealed the Project Morpheus, which is now called PlayStation VR,
Yep.
and it's gonna come out on October for $399, which is gonna be expensive as hell here in Mexico. It's gonna be around 9,000, 10,000 pesos, which is
A lot.
quite a lot.
A lot.
I'm not looking forward to buying that, even though I really want to. It looks very interesting. And they have a lot of experiences already there. They
Yeah.
have 50 plus games already developed for the
For the
PlayStation VR. So one of the games that they revealed was going to be used for this is Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah.
And it looks good. I mean, I've never played a Final Fantasy to completion. I've played Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, maybe. But a Final Fantasy game per se, I've only experienced part of Final Fantasy X and part of Final Fantasy 13. And I didn't play them fully. I just played a small section and I stopped it.
Isn't the
completely.
10 the bad one? Like the one who
I think I've only played the bad ones, because Final Fantasy X is said to have the worst acting, have to say the worst storylines, and I mean it's just atrocious, really. But I think it's good. It's also a good game, a good RPG.
Yeah.
And Final Fantasy 13, I've been said that it's the worst Final Fantasy game, period. So I don't know. Maybe I've just played the bad ones, but Final Fantasy 15 doesn't really appeal to me all that much. It looks good because
that's beautiful,
it's a mix in between. Well, you can play with your friends and you can roam around the world. It's an open world. You explore around. You beat enemies. You beat the hell out of enemies, and it looks like the gameplay is something akin to Xenoblade Chronicles.
Yeah.
For people that are more familiarized with Nintendo. So
Quite like that.
it looks good, and the fact that you can use VR with it, I don't know how to feel about it.
I didn't like it.
It's
to be
weird
honest.
because how are you gonna aim shit? How are you gonna do things? Because you can use pistols, you can use magic, you can do a lot of things. And how are you gonna aim things? And how are you gonna make it respond?
The only
properly?
thing that I saw on the VR for this Final Fantasy is the guy shooting. I was like, okay, we have a Call of Duty here now. But,
Yes,
but what,
exactly.
what about it?
You transformed Final Fantasy 15 into Call of Duty. Congratulations, you just screwed your franchise up. So, I mean, it's interesting to see, but I don't see why. I can't find a justification for it. But
Yeah.
it's still a cool idea that I like seeing implemented into big AAA titles. And one of the reveals they had was this weird, like psychological experience and everyone was like, "What is this?" I thought Silent Hills was canceled. What is this? And then it goes to show, like you are watching a photograph and goes like a lot of static on the screen,
Yep.
and then it just shows a 7, and it turns into Resident Evil, and it's like, whoa! Finally, Resident Evil is making a comeback to the horror genre.
Yeah, because I was scared. Like I said, I'm a wuss. I have to stop it like fifth times.
Yes, and I mean, I'm really excited for that because Resident Evil was a purely horror type experience, survival horror up to Resident Evil 3.
Yep.
When we switched to Resident Evil 4, the development of Resident Evil 4 spawned the Devil May Cry series because it was too action oriented for a Resident Evil game, and they ended up making a completely different series based on the mechanics that they wanted to implement on Resident Evil 4. And Resident Evil 4 ended up being both action and horror survival.
Yep.
So it was a mix in between the two, so it wasn't all that bad. But then we got to Resident Evil 5, and it was more of an action shooter game than anything else. Then we got to Resident Evil 6, and it's just a mess. It is both zombie game, and they have the plagas over there, and the new T-virus thing, and they have Wesker's son. It was just a mess with all the storyline and whatnot. But it wasn't a horror game. It was purely action-based. So you have the basic same gameplay for all three characters, all three main characters, and it's the same as Resident Evil 5.
Yep.
You have your running action, which is weird that you can run, but you have a running action on a zombie game. You have your gun, so you can shoot people, which has been there through the entire series, which is good. And then you have your gigantic boss fights. You're fighting a goddamn giant at some point with the characters, and you have a lot of different types of zombies that run at you, and you have the ability to run and kill people with Wesker's son. It's very weird, and they got to a weird amalgamation in between action, horror, survival, and it wasn't really horror, it was just survival.
It wasn't good.
It was an action shooter. And then this return to the horror with VR, no less. You're going to be able to experience fear, and you're going to be able to see the zombies and the creatures up front. And they're going to mess with your head so much. So it's very interesting to see them go this route now. And I'm just excited for Resident Evil 7. I love Resident Evil. So,
like, I want someone to buy it and play it so I can watch him play it. I'm not playing it, but I want to see someone playing that.
Yeah, so it would be a very interesting thing to do and to see. So Resident Evil VR, yeah, I could do it. I could do it. So please send me $400 so I can buy the VR. Because I'm certainly not making that kind of money right now with the channel.
Yeah.
Then we had another VR game. Well, we had a lot of VR games.
Yeah.
So
we got Resident Evil 7 and
we had Final Fantasy 16, and well, I mean they're implementing VR in a lot of things.
The Batman Arkham.
Yes, we had the Batman reveal. So why don't you tell us how you feel about the Batman reveal for VR? I'll be right back. So please start.
It's Batman. I love Batman. I don't know you guys, but I'm quite in love with that superhero, and I don't remember actually seeing gameplay like using the VR thing. But it's a Batman game. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna buy it. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna like it. And it started off with the Joker's voice, and I don't quite remember what he was saying.
So basically, the Joker starts off by saying, "What do you feel when you put on that scowl?" or something like that, and it's amazing because just imagine the amount of things that you will be able to see through Batman's eyes. So I'm wondering if it's gonna be anything like the Arkham games, because it's Batman Arkham VR.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it's gonna be like you're gonna be able to face against the Scarecrow, and you're gonna see visions of the things that the Scarecrow makes you see,
cool.
and probably the Joker bad guys, like the thugs that are all like painted like clowns and whatnot.
Yeah.
They have the opportunity to make things all much darker and scarier for the player to see and to experience the true horrors of Gotham City,
which is the intention of the whole
Exactly.
Marvel. Yeah.
Exactly. So I mean, Batman Arkham VR looks amazing in concept because we haven't seen anything gameplay wise. So it looks to be it can be amazing. It just depends on the execution. And if it's anything like the Arkham games, then what's better than that? The Arkham games are amazing. So
I played the Arkham City for the Wii U, and it was quite good. I enjoyed it, and I go through the whole thing.
I mean, I've played Arkham Asylum. I played a bit of Arkham City, and I mean, I just fell in love.
Yeah, it's good.
It's amazing.
Good.
The combat feels good, and and imagine this in VR, where you're gonna be able to feel the punches that you give with Batman.
Combat mechanics are...
The combat mechanics are satisfying. So I don't know. I'm excited for Batman Arkham VR. I'm waiting for more news on that, and I'd be really excited when it comes out. So please send me that $400. We want that. We really want that, and it'd be amazing to showcase all of that for you guys. So
Yeah.
it would be good. Then we get to some other games, like they showcase stuff that they had already announced before. And the first thing I wanted to talk about with this was Horizon Zero Dawn. And Horizon Zero Dawn, like we talked a little bit about it while discussing Zelda Breath of the Wild. This new game is open world exploration of cave people.
Yeah.
They look like cave people.
You're a caveman. Yeah.
But you can craft technological weapons and fight technological dinosaur creatures.
Yep.
It looks amazing. To say the least, it looks amazing. It looks beautiful.
It's quite beautiful in graphics, and it's quite beautiful in mechanics, the whole system, the crafting part, the
And
taking down
Exactly, and the
dinosaurs.
different weapons. Like, there's this gun that you can use to shoot a dinosaur, and then you shoot at the ground, and they get stuck with it. And it looks amazing, and you can destroy the environment, you can destroy parts of the dinosaurs and use them to your advantage.
Yep.
So, I mean, it looks like an in-depth combat experience. I don't know what the story is going to be. It's pretty much out there in the open by now.
Yes,
So
I remember she was looking for someone or for something.
yeah. So basically, we don't really know anything about the story past that. I mean, she's probably investigating something that happened, some kidnapping, or she got separated from her tribe, or I don't know. So she's looking for someone, and she runs into dinosaurs and whatnot. So why not kill them?
Yep.
You know.
I need them. I'm gonna use them, and let's go.
I have this weird theory that people, like, this is, instead of being like way back into the past and with new technology, being way over in the future, technology has taken over. Like, there was this person who tried to use technology in a good way,
Yep.
and it turned against humanity, and then every human-made structure got destroyed. So it's all back to nature. But the new wildlife is completely technological.
I was gonna say that just like a minute ago. It looks to me like a post-apocalyptic world.
Yes.
And then when you know how they're part of the world, like we're really talking it right now, like a big dumpster of technology
Yes.
thing, and then people go scavenge
Yes.
little like technology things. That's like what it looks to me. Like this
Yes.
thing came to life, and now they rule the world. Or they're part of
The natural stasis
Like-
of the natural statues of the world.
exactly.
So yeah, it does look very, very interesting. I'm very excited to see how Horizon is going to shape out in the end, and I'm very excited for that. I'm probably gonna pick that game up as soon as it comes out. Probably gonna play it. So yeah, I'm very excited for Horizon Zero Dawn. And then other games that they talked about. I mean, they also announced Call of Duty.
Infinity War, yeah.
Infinity War. I mean, Call of Duty just doesn't feel like what Call of Duty used to feel like before. I played Modern Warfare 2, and I mean,
I
Modern
did
Warfare 2 was good. It was a good shooter. It didn't get out of the boundaries like a regular shooter would.
Mm-hmm.
And then out came Black Ops,
Yeah, Black Ops.
and then it just started messing around with so many different weapons and technology things, and now it is more Halo than what it is Call of Duty, but at the same time looks like Battlefield. So, I mean,
I honestly believe that it was a new Killzone game, because it went out in the space and like
thrusting around and all, it is weird. It looks weird, and
pretty
I
much
mean,
the same.
I'm not much of an FPS type of guy. I like third-person shooters better, and even with first-person shooters, I mean, never been good at them. So I don't usually play them all that much. But this is a multiplayer-centered FPS experience,
Yep.
and it has come to a point in which I see an FPS and I just think to myself, is this Halo? Is this Call of Duty? Is this Killzone? Is this Battlefield? What is this?
Oh,
Because they all have the same mechanics.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same.
You can now fly in all of them. You can jump as high as you want in all of them. You can punch people and kill everyone from the back in any game.
Yep.
You can stab people. You can change what you have equipped at any point with any of them. So it's weird. It's weird that they are now all like each game has become an amalgamation of what each different one was. So I mean, it looks nice. The graphics are nice, and you are in space. So that's cool.
Yeah.
But I'm not excited for Call of Duty at all.
I've never been excited for it. Like,
So-
unless when I was really little. I'm just gonna say, if you want a first-person shooter like multiplayer-oriented, go Overwatch. Overwatch is cool.
Yes. I haven't been able to try Overwatch, but I've seen gameplay. It it usually definitely it's looks way less boring than any other FPS
It is,
that I've ever
it is,
played,
it is.
and it has this system that is kind of like League of Legends, in which you choose your character, and each character has different attributes and stuff.
It's a MOBA rooster, you know.
Yes, so
They're in the
I mean, it looks cool. I want to try Overwatch, but
You can try on my PC if you want.
thank you. That would be nice. So yeah, so Call of Duty, pretty meh. It's gonna be meh for the rest of my life, pretty much. I mean, but for me, it's gonna be meh. So
If you want to go buy it, buy it.
exactly. And then we had talks about The Last Guardian, and I'm pretty excited about that because I mean, I love Shadow of the Colossus, and Japan Studio, or it's just the same developer that developed this. For anyone that doesn't know and has been living under a rock like this guy for the past 10, 20 years, Japan Studio has only developed two full games up to now, and those games are called Eco and Shadow of the Colossus. And both are regarded some of the best artistic video games in history. So, basically, they announced a new game for the PS3 called The Last Guardian. They didn't show footage at all, and it was just a couple of screenshots that they showed over the years, and then there was no word of this game for like 3 years.
Let the hype begin.
Then last year, or I mean 4 or 5 years maybe, but then last year it was announced that The Last Guardian was not dead, and then they had been developing the game over the last 7, 8 years. So it was a very exciting piece of news last year, and seeing it this year because they showcased new gameplay footage and they showcased mechanics, and it is amazing to see The Last Guardian and how it's shaping up. And I'm pretty excited to play that when it comes out. I don't know. Like it's very exciting for me. I'm very hyped for this game. So
as a newcomer, the game looks pretty nice. It looks beautiful from a graphic perspective, you know, and it's pretty meh for me, you know.
I understand that. Because
I'm pretty sure it's gonna be good. I don't doubt it. Like it's not meh like Call of Duty, obviously, but
there's no point of comparison. I mean, Call of Duty is like meh, but very, very below the grounds.
Yeah, but I may if you buy it, I'm gonna play it like 2 times with your plays, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, The Last Guardian has become a piece that a lot of people are just like looking at, and I was like, I want it to come out. When does it come out? And that's for the people that know Shadow of the Colossus and Eco and all these games, for people that don't know the company and that they just see the gameplay and they're like,
Well,
what's this dog-like thing, serpent bird thing doing on my game, and what point does it have on playing it? So because there's not much dialogue, there's not much things going on.
I don't know what's the story about.
I'm not sure about the story either. Basically, what Japan Studio does, these games that they develop, they don't have all that much of an explicit narrative, kind of like a Dark Souls kind of way that you have to pay attention to what is happening on the screen to know what the story is. So you get into context by playing the game, and that's the neat thing about it. So
Yeah, it's quite good.
it's very good, and I'm excited about The Last Guardian. And something that was very, very I don't know, special or weird to me. I'm gonna skip games here because I'm sorry. I just so yeah, buy The Last Guardian. Just send me more money to buy The Last Guardian. Another game that they technically announced, but it was announced like a few years ago. Prey. There's already a Prey out there, and I heard that it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good either. And they had announced a Prey 2, but it was cancelled.
Oh, goodness.
So there's this new game called Prey, and it takes a psychological thing to it. It has this psychological thing to it. So on the trailer, you have this guy waking up, and it's like, "Good morning. You have an appointment at 9 a.m." And he just goes like, "Okay, fine." And he just gets his coffee, and then you see the guy like checking the signs, a little bit bloodshot, and he goes on with his day. And then you go next day, he's like, "Good morning. You have an appointment at 10 a.m." And then goes for his coffee, and then checks his eye again, and it's a little bit more bloodshot.
Yep.
And then again, and it's the same thing. And by the time that you see his eye completely red, you come back, and instead of this same routine again, it's just a door opens, and a bunch of guys appear, and they're like, "Good morning. Looks like we have some experimentation to do today." And it just jumps out to this other scenes of the guy like being completely savage and killing people and going and jumping and getting everywhere. And then there's this thing. Apparently, it is based on a space station, and it got overrun by aliens. And they're trying to run experiments on people. I think that's the thing. Don't quote me on that. But I think that's the thing about this game. So it does seem like there's a psychological thing to it, because by the end, you yourself look at your character looks at himself in the mirror, and he goes like, "Good morning. You don't want to hear me say the rest of it now." And it's like,
Wow.
So I'm
plot twist.
curious. I'm curious about what Prey is going to be.
Yeah. Sounds interesting. It reminds me a little bit of Portal. Like you're trapped in a
Yes.
lab and you're the rat lab.
Yes,
So-
it had this certain type of Half-Life vibe to it. Like the character did seem a little bit like Gordon Freeman, but of course we're never gonna get Half-Life 3. Forget about internet. We're never getting Half-Life 3. Yeah, it looks interesting to me. I want to see more about this psychological thing that the game has going, and I want to see more gameplay for it. I want to see more of the actual storyline. I'm interested on it. And that brings me to another game that was announced last year, and last year it was just a concept.
Detroit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Last year it was just a concept, and we had this concept telling us, well, there's androids living among humans now, and they just have these different markings on their head that tell us that they're androids, and basically there's no difference from there on. They're just robots, but they act like humans.
They even have blood.
Yes.
Blood.
And the only thing that actually makes them different are the markings and the type of blood that they have. So, and there's discrimination towards them. So, this year at E3, Sony showcased Detroit Become Human once again with a trailer. I never expected them to go this direction, because you have this android guy coming into a crime scene, and they're just like, things are happening, this is what's happening, he's on the back. And there's this other android that was kind of like a pet, like it was part of an ownership, it was owned by a family,
Yep.
and he used to play with a girl, and he was her friend for the most part.
The nanny or something like that.
And then you have this sensation like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
He has her hanging from the top of the building, and he is menacing to both shoot and jump. And then you get a load of options. So it looks like it's another game that develops around the butterfly effect.
Yep.
And your actions are gonna influence the story somewhat. So it looks interesting to me, because the character that you take control of in this trailer,
It's an android.
it's an android as well, and it looks amazing because there's so many different paths and so many different things that you can do. Like you can talk to him, you can try to make him surrender, you can try to attack him, you can try to pull the girl out, or you can try to be comprehensive. And a lot of these outcomes end up in someone being shot, someone being dead.
Yep.
And it makes it made me want to see more. It made me want to see more outcomes, and just the possibilities seem endless.
I've never played a decision making game like Heavy Rain or those kind of games.
Yes.
But I like to start with this one. As a software developer and someone who has made video games in the past, it looks like a hell of a work. Oh my god, the size of the thing, it must be so bad to do the whole thing. But
It does look like it takes a lot of time. And I mean, the assets, the game looks beautiful. It does look like a vibrant city.
Yep.
And the models look realistic enough.
yeah, it looks
So-
pretty amazing now, the graphics.
Yes. And anyways, the hype that is in this game, like I got really hyped up for this game because it looks like you're gonna have to put a lot of thought into it, and I don't know what other gameplay elements are gonna fix into the game. But the narrative looks to be strong. It looks to have a very big emphasis on the decision making. As you said, it looks to be a decision making game, and it's interesting to see that the main concept on this was you are a cop.
Yep.
Like you are a cop android.
Yeah. It ends very strong. Like this android, I don't remember his name. It turns around and say, "I'm someone, and this is our story because it includes
Yes.
you. You're gonna make the decisions, not me, man."
That has a lot of meanings because it's also the story of the androids
Yep.
as they're being discriminated
Yep.
and they're being used by the regular humans in the world in our society. So it looks amazing. It looks very interesting. I think they can take a lot of themes, a lot of topics with this game, and it would just be amazing to play through it. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for Detroit Become Human.
I'm gonna get that one.
I'm gonna get that game as well. And just as some closing things, I mean the press conference was amazing. The press conference was very good. They never stopped showcasing games. It was game after game after trailer after.
Amazing.
It was just very good. It was a very good showcase, and it was whenever they had a developer come into the room, they didn't stop and talk like, "Hey, we revealed this game last year, and we made a good game. So, based on the games that we have made thus far, this is gonna be a good game because we think our game is good. So here is a look at." No, it's not like that. You're not stopping at all. So it was just game after game. It was a very good conference, in my opinion.
I believe the live music made it.
Yes, that
Very
was
strong
amazing.
point, yeah.
That was very, very good, and it was amazing they had the live orchestra at all times and going with the game reveals and going with the trailers themselves.
Yeah,
That was very good. They also revealed more games outside of that, and I just wanted to touch upon this because I want to talk about one game in specific. I don't know if you're excited about this, but I wanted to touch upon Kingdom Hearts 2.8. Not even the Kingdom Hearts 3. You thought I was going to say 3. Kingdom Hearts 2.8 has a playable demo on the E3 show floor. So I don't know if you've seen this, probably not, but they are showcasing Birth by Sleep, a fragmentary passage, and I don't know what they're trying to do with this because if you name a game a fragmentary passage, it doesn't sound like it's gonna be a long game, right?
Yeah.
But they have a demo of an entire level. Like you go from the first cutscene when you get to the level,
Yep.
and you learn the mechanics of the level. You get enemies. You go around collecting and hitting stuff, and then you get to a boss at the very end, and you get an end cutscene for the demo. So, I mean, it's just confusing. It's just a little bit confusing for me because I don't know if this is gonna be another full-fledged Kingdom Hearts like game. I don't think it's going to be because they're focusing a lot on Kingdom Hearts 3, so it has to be a shorter game. But this is still a compilation they're doing for 2.8 because it has the 3DS game and it has this other game and the cutscenes from the mobile game. So this is a compilation of games that no one from the PlayStation family would have been able to play any other way.
Oh, well, it makes sense. I've never been into this series. I've never played them. I think I don't downloaded a demo for the 3DS version.
Well,
I
that's
played
good
just
enough.
one level, and I could fly.
Yes.
Stuff.
But the Kingdom Hearts series, it's a very convoluted series because they have been adding to the story as they go. So there's some big holes. There's some things that don't add up, and in the end, it just ends up being a little bit of a mess. It's a little bit convoluted, but it's not all that complicated as people make it out to see or to be. But yeah, I just wanted to touch upon this because the gameplay looks good, the graphics look good. They switched over from the graphics engine they were developing with to Unreal Engine, and so I think it's interesting because a lot of people were complaining about Terra's model and that it seems unfinished. So I don't know what this game is coming out, but I just need clarification. If anyone knows, please leave it in the comments down below so that I can know how Aqua's part of the Kingdom Hearts 2.8 compilation is going to work out. But I don't know. Do you have any closing thoughts on Sony's conference or any of the games you want to mention?
If I will rank the three conferences, the three big conferences like Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo, I will have to put Sony on top.
Yes,
And
I
then
completely agree.
Nintendo because I'm not as much of a Microsoft fan.
Yeah, I mean, ranking the conference, Sony would have to be at the very top. They nailed it. They completely nailed it. So all the three big hardware developing companies revealed a lot of things. Nintendo was the one that revealed the least amount of games because they already killed off the Wii U. They don't want to make any more games for the Wii U, so
Yeah.
they said, okay, we have Zelda, we have
Well,
Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem, which is called Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE. It's a weird name, but anyways. They had those 2 games and Paper Mario Color Splash, which is Sticker Star 2, and I'm going to talk about that at some other point in some other video. I'm going to complain a lot about that, but so Nintendo doesn't really have a conference, so I would rank Nintendo last because of that, because they didn't announce anything new for the Wii U, just for the 3DS.
Yep.
And Microsoft second. But yeah, Sony definitely nailed it. Sony was the best conference this year, closely followed by Bethesda, which I'll be talking about later in the upcoming days. So yeah, Sony was very good, and we agree with that. We're excited for a lot of games. We're excited for the VR. A lot of games coming to the VR platform. Please send me those $400 so that I can buy the VR platform.
we need those.
We need those $400, guys. Or just share these videos around the internet so that more people can see them, and you would help me out quite a bit by doing that. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to comment and rate this video, and leave your thoughts on Sony's conference down in the comments. So,
Please.
without any further ado, we will see you guys some other time.
See ya.
Bye.